In youth, when I did love, me thought 'twas very sweet to contract the time afore my behold, me thought there was nothing a-me.
Has this fellow no feeling of his business? He sings in grave-making.
Custom hath made it in him a property of easiness.
'Tis e'en so. The hand of little employment hath the daintier sense.
But age with his stealing steps hath clawed me in his clutch, and hath shipped me into the land as if I'd ne'er been such.
That skull had a tongue in it and could sing once. How the knave jowls it to the ground as if 'twere Cain's jawbone that did the first murder. This might be the pate of a politician which this ass now o'erreaches, one that would circumvent God, might it not?
It might, my lord.
Or of a courtier, which could say, Good morrow, sweet lord, how dost thou, sweet lord? This might be my lord such a one that praised my lord such a one's horse when he went to beg it, might it not?
Aye, my lord.
Why, e'en so. And now my lady worms chapless and knocked about the mazzard with a sexton's spade. Here's fine revolution, and we had the trick to see it. Did these bones cost no more the breeding but to play at lockets with them? Mine ache to think on't.
A pickaxe and a spade for, and a shrouding sheet. Oh, a pit of clay for to be made, for such a guest is meet.
There's another. Why may not that be the skull of a lawyer? Where be his quiddities now? His quilities, his cases, his tenures, and his tricks? Why does he suffer this mad knave now to knock him about the sconce with a dirty shovel, and will not tell him of his action of battery? This fellow might be in time a great buyer of land, with his statutes, his recognizances, his fines, his double vouchers, his recoveries. Is this the fine of his fine, and the recovery of his recoveries? To have his fine pate full of fine dirt? Will his vouchers vouch him no more of his purchases, and double ones too, than the length and breadth of a pair of indentures? The very conveyances of his lands will scarcely lie in this box, and must the inheritor himself have no more? Huh?
Not a jot more, my lord.
I will speak to this fellow. Whose grave's this, sirrah?
Oh, mine, sir. Oh, a pit of clay for to be made, for such a guest is meet.
I think it be thine indeed, for thou liest in it.
You lie out on, sir, and therefore 'tis not yours. For my part, I do not lie in't, yet it is mine.
Thou dost lie in't, to be in't, and to say it is thine. 'Tis for the dead, not for the quick. Therefore thou liest.
Ah, 'tis a quick lie, sir. 'Twill away again from me to you.
What man dost thou dig it for?
For no man, sir.
What woman, then?
For none neither.
Who's to be buried in't?
Ah, one that was a woman, sir, but God rest her soul, she's dead.
How absolute the knave is. We must speak by the card, or equivocation will undo us. By the Lord, Horatio, this 3 years I have took note of it. The age has grown so picked that the toe of the peasant comes so near the heel of the courtier, he galls his kine. How long hast thou been gravemaker?
All the days in the year. I came to it that day that our last King Hamlet overcame Fortinbras.
How long is that since?
Can you not tell that? Every fool can tell that. It was the very day that young Hamlet was born. He that is mad and sent into England.
Aye. Mary, why was he sent into England?
Why, because he was mad. He shall recover his wits there. Or if he do not, 'tis no great matter there.
Why?
'Twill not be seen in him there. The men there are as mad as he is.
How came he mad?
Very strangely, they say.
How strangely?
Faith, even with losing his wits.
Upon what ground?
Why, here, in Denmark, I have been sexton here, man and boy, 30 years.
How long will a man lie in the earth ere he rot?
Faith, if he be not rotten before he die, we have many pocky courses nowadays that will scarcely hold the laying in. He will last you some 8 year or 9 year. A tanner will last you 9 year.
Why he more than another?
Ay, sir, his hide is so tanned with his trade that he will keep water out a great while. And your water is a sore decayer of your whoreson dead body. Here's a skull now hath lying you in the earth 23 years.
Whose was it?
Horse and mad fellows 'twas. Whose do you think it was?
Nay, I know not.
Pestilence on him for a mad rogue. He poured a flagon of Rhenish on my head once. This same skull, sir, was, sir, Yorick's skull, the king's jester.
This?
Ain't that?
Let me see. Alas, poor Yorick. I knew him, Horatio. A fellow of infinite jest, of most excellent fancy. He hath bore me on his back 1,000 times. And now how abhorred in my imagination it is. Oh, my gorge rises at it. Here hung those lips that I have kissed I know not how oft. Where be your gibes now? Your gambols, your songs, your flashes of merriment that were wont to set the table on a roar? Not one now to mock your own grinning. Quite chapfallen? Now, get you to my lady's chamber and tell her, let her paint an inch thick, to this favor she must come. Make her laugh at that. Prithee, Horatio, tell me one thing.
What's that, my lord?
Dost thou think Alexander looked to this fashion in the earth?
Even so.
And smelt so.
Even so, my lord.
To what base uses we may return, Horatio? Why may not imagination trace the noble dust of Alexander till he find it stopping a bunghole?
'Twere to consider, too curiously to consider so.
No, faith, not a jot, but to follow him thither with modesty enough and likelihood to lead it, as thus: Alexander died, Alexander was buried, Alexander returneth to dust, the dust is earth, of earth we make loam. And why of that loam whereto he was converted, might they not stop up a beer barrel? Imperious Caesar, dead and turned to clay, might stop up a hole to keep the wind away. Oh, that earth that kept the world in awe should patch a wall to expel the winter's flaw.